Hi everybody, I hope you've all had a lovely weekend and we're here to do our literacy again today. Today's lesson is going to be about questions, statements and commands. We learnt about those a little bit last week, so we're going to practice them again today. Can't wait to see what you've remembered. To start us off with, make sure you have got your pen or pencil and some paper ready, because as you know, I like to ask you questions whilst you're listening to the video. So let's start off with our vocab blast. Okay, I have got a picture of a man in an army uniform, and you can see that he's pointing, looking a little bit cross and shouting something. I wonder if you can remember what this word is. The definition of this word is telling someone to do something. If you think you can remember what this word is, shout it out for me now. Brilliant, well done year 2. It is a command, well done. Okay, our next word. I've got two people sitting at a table together and one person is telling the other person something else. They're giving them some information. That's because the definition for this word is a sentence that gives information. If you can remember what this word is, shout it out. Amazing, it's a statement. Wow, year 2, I'm so impressed with how much you remembered. And the last one, we have got this piece of punctuation. I'm not going to tell you what it is because that's going to give you the biggest clue. And this word means a sudden expression of surprise or another strong feeling. If you know what it is, shout it out. It's an exclamation. Well done. And that is our exclamation mark. If you want to, you can show me your Kung Fu punctuation for an exclamation mark, just so that I know you can remember how to do one. Whee! Bang. Well done. Okay, now that we've talked about what all of these words mean, I have jumbled them all up. What I would like you to do is decide which definition matches which picture and which word matches which picture. You can either write them down or just have a little think about it, and we're going to go through the answers in a second, so you can pause your video now. Okie dokie, so looking at that picture of that man again, and the word is command. Fantastic, well done. And the definition of a command is telling somebody to do something. Fantastic, well remembered. Okay, looking at this next one. It is a statement, well done. And the definition for a statement is a sentence that gives information. Fantastic, well done if you got that one right. Which means that our last one is our exclamation, which is a sudden expression of surprise or another strong feeling. Okay, now that we know what those words mean, I'm going to show you some sentences. These sentences are either going to be a question, a statement, or a command. Okay, so when I show you the sentence, I want you to decide which one of those it is. Just to recap, a question needs to have a question word at the beginning and a question mark at the end. That's how we know it's a question. A statement gives us a piece of information. Okay? And a command is going to have that imperative verb at the front. So it's going to be telling us to do something. Put your coat on, collect the books, and it's going to have that exclamation mark at the, oh no, it's not going to have an exclamation mark at the end. Please ignore Miss Mannion. A command is just going to have that imperative verb at the beginning, so it's telling somebody to do something. Okay, I'm going to show it you, and I want you to tell me what kind of sentence it is. Let's go. Why are so many animals endangered? What is that one? Why are so many animals endangered? Amazing, it's a question. Let's read the next one. Stop global warming. Is that a question, statement, or command? Tell me. Fantastic, it's a command because we're telling somebody to stop doing something. Let's look at the next one. The ice is melting because the planet is getting hotter. Oh, I seem to have forgotten a little bit of punctuation at the end of that sentence there. The ice is melting because the planet is getting hotter. That is a statement. It's telling us a piece of information. Polar bears are an endangered species. Is that a question, statement, or command? Fantastic, it's another statement. Once again, it is telling us a piece of information. It's not got that question mark at the end or a question word at the beginning, so we know it can't be a question. And it doesn't have an imperative verb at the start, so we know it can't be a command. Next one, recycle your rubbish. Well done, it is a command. We're telling somebody to recycle. There's that imperative verb at the beginning. And the last one, where are the animals going? Amazing, it's a question. We've got our question mark and we've got our question word at the beginning. Fantastic, year 2, what a great start. Okay, now that we've done that, I want you to have a little think back. You might want to put your hands on your head and close your eyes. Have a little think back to last week when we started doing all of our online learning. We looked at this footprint and we had to have a think about what kind of animal was it that made this footprint. And we were trying to describe that animal, what we thought it looked like. We were saying that we thought it might be from a scaly animal. It might be from a feathery animal. So I want you to be thinking about that footprint. Because today we're going to be making a poster. And that poster is going to ask for help from somebody in identifying what that animal is. So we're going to be having to ask that person in our poster if they know what that animal is and can they help us to find it. So in that poster, we're going to be using our questions, statements and commands, just like we were talking about before. So to start us off, I want you to have a little think about what are some questions that you could ask people to get them to help you figure out what that animal is. You're showing them that footprint and you need to ask them something. What sort of questions could we ask? I want you to write down 3 of your ideas for questions that we could ask. I'll give you an example. So I've showed my person that footprint and I'm going to say, do you know what this animal is? That's just an example to help you. What other questions could you ask them? Pause the video and write down 3. Okie dokie, I hope you've managed to write down some questions and I'm looking forward to having a read of what those questions were. Now it's important that we write them down now because we're going to use those when we come to do our poster. Right, next then. So we've had a think about what questions we could write to help to get people to help us in finding out what this animal is. Now, the next thing that we're going to include in our poster are statements, okay? And I've put this on from last week because we could just have a statement that says, I think this footprint belongs to a scaly, tall, animal. Can you see how I've just picked one thing from each column again, just like we did last week? So I want you to have a think, what different statements could you write? And again, maybe just pick 1 or 2 and write them down now. You can pause the video, write down a statement. I think this footprint belonged to a something, something animal. Off you go. Okay, so now that you've written your statements down, the last thing that we're going to get ready for our poster are commands. And I put these pictures on to help you come up with a couple of different ideas. Okay, so you might want to tell somebody to call the school if you have any information about the animal. You might want to tell them to send us a letter if you can help. You might want to tell them to keep a lookout, keep an eye out, look for the animal. You might want to tell them to help us find the animal. So they've all got that imperative verb at the start, which is what makes them a command. So again, you can pause the video, write down some commands that you can give to people that's going to get them to help you figure out what this animal is. Okay. So now you should have written down some questions that you could use for in your poster, some statements that you could use in your poster, and some commands that you could use in your poster. Now, as you can see, I've made a poster, but I want your help with it because I need to make sure that it's okay and that I've done my best work and I've tried really hard. I need to make sure that I've remembered to have a question, I've remembered to have a statement, and I've remembered to have a command. So can you help me? We're going to read it through together and we're going to use our Kung Fu punctuation. Okay? Off we go. Have you seen the animal that made this footprint? Bang. Do you know what it is? Bang. We think it is a tall, feathered animal. Bang. Contact Byron Wood Academy if you have any information. Bang. Okay, so now that we've read that through, I want you to have a think. Have I managed to get a question somewhere? Have I managed to put a statement in somewhere? And have I managed to put in a command somewhere? I'm going to check my sentences now. Have you seen the animal that made this footprint? Well, that's got a question mark at the end and it's got a question word at the beginning. Fantastic, I've remembered my question. And actually, I'm looking at this next sentence and I think I've managed to put 2 questions in. Do you know what it is? We think it is a tall, feathered animal. Fantastic, that's my statement. I'm given a piece of information. And then my last sentence, contact, there's that imperative verb. Byron Wood Academy if you have any information. Brilliant. Oh, I'm so glad you helped me with that because I was really worried I'd forgotten all of those things. So I've got my question, my statement, and my command. Now, I'm also going to be challenging you to use an and, a but, or an or in your poster using one of those coordinating conjunctions. Now, we've read this a couple of times now, and I know that I haven't put any of those conjunctions in there. So I would like you to have a little quick think, maybe write a sentence down for me. Where could I put one of those conjunctions? What other information could I give? Have you seen the animal that made this footprint? Do you know what it is? We think it is a tall feathered animal. Oh, I think it would go really well there if I put a but. But. So we think it's a tall feathered animal, but I'm not sure. Amazing, and now I've met my challenge. Okay? So, I'm going to talk you through the activities really quickly. If you are going to be doing the 3-star challenge today, I want you to, just like I've done, write out that poster. You will find a copy of the poster for you to write on the school website. You don't have to use that one if you don't want to. You can make your own, okay? There will also be the word mat on there and the question words to help you, and it'll also tell you what your challenge is and a quick reminder to do your question first, then your statement, then a command. So that means we should have 3 sentences overall, but if you want to do more, that is absolutely okay. So that's your challenge if you're doing the 3-star challenge. If you manage to put an and, but, or an or in your poster, can you put a box around it or a tick next to it, or highlight it or colour it in or something, so that when you're sending in your work, I can see that you've done your challenge. If you are doing the 2-star challenge today, it's a little bit like the ones that we do in school. So we've got the communicate in print, and you're going to write your question first. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to choose the words that you're going to use to make your sentence, and you need to read it through in your head to make sure that it makes sense. Have you seen this animal footprint or us? Have you seen this us? Well, that doesn't make sense, so I'm definitely not going to say that one. Have you seen this footprint? Have you seen this animal? Well, I like both of those, so I'm going to go for animal. And because it's a question, I need to remember to put my question mark at the end. So choose the words that you're going to use, and then you can write them down onto your poster. And the last activity is the 1-star activity. What you're doing if you're doing the 1-star activity, I want you to read the sentences and figure out what word is missing. And just like we do in school, if you've got access to a printer, you can print this out and cut out the pieces and stick them on in the right places. If you can't do that at home, that's okay. All I want you to do instead is write the sentences out, and you can still access this. You can pause the video so that you can see what the words are that you need to use. Have you seen this school? That doesn't make sense. Have you seen this police? That doesn't make sense either. What are we talking about finding? Amazing, yeah, we're talking about finding that animal. So have you seen this animal or have you seen this footprint? Okay, and you're choosing which words need to go in the boxes. And that is everything from me today. So I hope you enjoy doing your activities. I can't wait to see what things you come up with. Bye, everybody.